we're going to go over live to Los Angeles to speak to the great Kinsey Schofield about the latest goings-on planet Meghan. Hi, Kins.
Yeah, I mean, she is on her own planet lately, isn't she?
She really is. She's on her own planet, and it's dubious whether Harry's there or not. Let's start off, Kinsey, with a rather good story that kind of emerged today. Now, Meghan Markle, as we know, has styled herself as, you know, the new domestic goddess of America. There's been talk that she's the new Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart, of course, the queen of homemaking and domestic entertaining, been doing it for years. America loves her. She's great at her job. Now, Meghan, you know, who also fancies herself as the queen of homemaking, has been styling herself. People have been calling her the new Martha Stewart. Now, I think it's pretty clear that the real Ms. Stewart, Martha Stewart, isn't that keen on this. Let's have a look and a listen to what she had to say about this.
What is it like to watch other celebrities, you know, Gwyneth Paltrow, Meghan Markle, going in your footsteps and following something that you've really started?
I don't mind. I don't mind. Good luck. And Gwyneth's been very successful, by the way. I think she's created quite an interesting body of businesses. She's admired. She's a fantastic. She won an Oscar, for heaven's sake, as an actress. You know, she's pretty powerful. Meghan, I don't really know very well, and I hope she knows what she's talking about. Authenticity to me is everything. And to be authentic and knowledgeable about your subject matter is extremely important.
Yeah, you know what the translation of that is, Kinsey? Martha Stewart doesn't think Meghan knows what the hell she's talking about. Martha Stewart thinks that Meghan's pretense that she's the queen of homemaking and domestic entertaining is a shameless pretense. She's very diplomatic, extremely complimentary to Gwyneth Paltrow, but I think right there, making her feelings about Meghan Markle's pretense that she's good at this stuff very clear.
Yeah, I mean, Martha's an OG. She spent some time in the Slammer. I'm not messing with Martha Stewart. And she initially
Tax.
Yeah, and it was, I think it was moving around stocks when she heard whispers, insider trading whispers. Wasn't that what it was?
Something like that, but she knows what she's talking about when it comes to...
No, I'm just saying that this is a tough cookie, and you don't go head to head with Martha Stewart. You don't challenge her. If Martha is critical of Meghan, she has to sit back and take it, because not only has Martha really built her own brand from the ground up, she's lived through so many tough experiences that I mean, one of her best collaborators is Snoop Dogg. She's always over here on TV with Snoop Dogg, you know. She's just so versatile, and that's not something you can say about Meghan. And I also think that Martha can move in these different circles, whether she's, you know, Miss Prim and Proper on whatever home shopping network or whatever lifestyle network she appears on. But she can also go beyond something that is wildly Snoop Dogg crazy, like the Comedy Central roast, because of that authenticity that she was talking about. And obviously she feels like Meghan Markle lacks that.
Yeah, and I think Martha will have seen, unfortunately for her, along with the rest of us, the horror of With Love, Meghan.
Well, she makes sure we all know she hasn't. She makes sure she's above that. She doesn't have time to see it, she tells. She recently told, I think it was Access Hollywood or Entertainment Tonight or one of the entertainment shows here, that she hadn't seen it. But that's also a dig, because she's saying she's too good for it. She's saying, I'm not going to waste my time.
I think, I mean, that may or may not be true. I would suspect Martha Stewart might have had a quick look, and that's why she is questioning Meghan's authenticity when it comes to styling herself as a domestic goddess. Because, as you remember, in all your nightmares, Kinsey, With Love Meghan was basically a sort of feeble festival of fruit and vegetable cutting, wasn't it? You know, just hours and hours of
Between compliments of Meghan Markle, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I suspect if Martha didn't see it, she's heard about it, and she questions Meghan's skills and expertise as well. She might, because With Love Meghan was just a display of amateurism. You know, just like, you know, I quite fancy myself as being sort of quite good at entertaining my friends when they come around. I do a bit of cooking myself. You know, does that mean I warrant a TV series? No, it doesn't. She's just someone, you know, who's, you know, cooked up a few dishes and thinks that makes her an expert at cookery, at entertaining, at all things domestic. It's rubbish, isn't it?
And I've seen this really interesting conversation happening online. When Meghan did the Time Summit in New York with Blake Lively, oh God, what a nightmare room that was. Ryan Reynolds went on the stage shortly after Meghan did, but Blake was awarded Time 100, one of their, and you're all just sitting there going, oh my God, how easy is it to manipulate the media when you have two of the most loathed people that are being celebrated by Time magazine. Meghan made it a point to say that it was Netflix's idea, her show. Meghan made it a point to say, well, I sent so-and-so at Netflix some jam, and they called me up and they said, this is it. This is what you should do. Let's build a brand around this. So she is putting all of the responsibility on them. So if this does fail, if this, and you know, I am told contract, yes, absolutely dead. But Meghan could get a season 3. That's what we're hearing here. Season 3, that she could get that because Netflix doesn't want egg on their face. Yeah. But was that the strategy when she said...
You don't do a series for that. $20, we don't see series 3. $50.
Okay, I think we will. I think we will. I think we will.
We got a bet on that. $50. All right.
I think Netflix. Well, we just not too long ago had Ted Sarandos in Variety talking about how much he believes in her, but Meghan puts all of the responsibility, she puts all of the blame on Netflix in that moment when she was like, it's their idea. I sent them jam and they loved it so much they said we're going to build an entire brand around this.
What a ridiculous
thing.
And
that's not true, because in Tom Bower's book and in others' books, they talk about Meghan before she met Prince Harry going to the UK and pitching travel shows where she would go be the foodie, and she wanted to be on some type of foodie show.
Yeah, sure. I mean, but see, Ted Sarandos, right? You know, okay, he seems to be a bit of a fan of Meghan, and I think he mistakes. I mean, he's obviously a very smart guy. Don't get me wrong. He's the chief executive of the biggest streaming company in the world. Respect and all that, but I think he makes a mistake. I think he thinks just because Meghan commands loads of column inches in all the papers, you know, people like you and me want to talk about her. She's on discussion point on television, on radio. I think he thinks because of that there must be money in that. The thing is, though, the narrative surrounding the Duchess of Sussex isn't because people love her. It's the opposite. People find her sort of like kind of compellingly unpleasant, you know, kind of, she's of car crash interest. You're drawn to her because she seems so awful. Now, I don't think there is money in that. And that's why I think Sarandos is wrong about this, and that's why I don't think
there is money in that, but it would be the Kinsey and Kevin documentary taking down Meghan. What happened to Bogart, her dog that she abandoned, on Netflix, the 2-hour special where we travel to Canada and try to locate the rescue dog she abandoned. There's money in it. But there's not money in it.
For us. Let's get up there.
There's not money. Door knocking Trevor Ingleson. There's money to be made, but just not the type. I was reading this book about entrepreneurship called Blue Ocean Strategy. And in the book, they talk about how if you're going to be a great brand, you need to focus on audience feedback you don't need to focus on your competition. And in this, in securing Harry and Meghan, I feel like Netflix, even in maybe keeping a hold of Harry and Meghan, I feel like Netflix is so worried about other people getting them. Maybe that was why the initial deal happened or was so big in the first place, because we do know that they were talking to Quibi, that micro video site, before they stepped down as working members of the British royal family. Behind the royal family's back, they were talking to them about developing content. Harry was talking to Amazon Video, Jeff Bezos, about something with Invictus Games, perhaps streaming the Invictus Games award show live. That, of course, ripped away because of the Netflix deal. And Harry had a deal with Apple Plus that had to, I guess, be terminated when he moved over to Netflix. He had appeared in a docuseries with Oprah Winfrey called The Me You Can't See, and then he was supposed to develop some content for Apple. So with Netflix, I feel like they were acting based on competition. Let's grab them because they're talking to all of these other people. That's what makes them valuable. When in reality, I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me and said, I've canceled my Netflix subscription because I am so angry that Netflix keeps catering to these entitled liars and babies.
Well, this is why I think my $50 is safe, and that you all owe me the money, because although Ted Sarandos...
Well, then make it pounds.
All right, 50 quid, 50 pounds. It's a deal. It's a deal. Because Ted Sarandos, while he seems to think there's money in this woman, he has shareholders to serve, to please, to keep happy. They are not going to want Netflix to spend any more money on Harry and Meghan, particularly Meghan, because With Love Meghan basically flopped, and they would prefer Netflix to spend money on success stories, not failures.
Yeah, but well, you know, reality TV is so cheap, and this is nothing but reality television. It's nothing but reality television. And reality TV, there's so much of it because it costs pennies. They rent a house in Montecito for the week. And Meghan has, how many people did she say? She said how many crew members there were, because she said she didn't want them around her children. But, you know, you've got the crew members.
Well, it shouldn't be a problem because they weren't at her house, were they?
Right, right. You know, we know her friends, you know, from Central Casting aren't being paid. Like Mindy Kaling was likely not paid a fee to be there. So I think it's probably an incredible, the cost probably skyrockets when you imagine all of the farmers market produce and, you know, veggies and delicious fruits that they're buying that Meghan claims are from her homegrown garden. But I imagine it's a pretty cheap production.
Yeah, I mean, you could be right, but I don't make that bet, the £50 bet, lightly, Kinsey. That's 2 weeks' wages for me, you know. So if I lose, I'll face destitution. I really, really will. Let's very quickly, because I want to talk about Harry's recent trip to Africa. There's an interesting element to it. But just quickly, I don't want to dwell on this too long, but great news, breaking news, exciting news. There's a new vintage of Chateau Meg coming out. Now, this is after about a month or so. 1st of July, didn't it? The first version came out. $110 it will cost you to get hold of any, because you've got to buy at least 3 bottles and then $20.
When is she releasing this? On Diana's death?
Yeah, no doubt. Anyway, she's posted, so there's a new vintage coming out of the rosé wine, Chateau Meg, and this is what she's posted on As Ever's Instagram page. Listen to this, right? Oh, how we love seeing the world through rose-coloured glasses. Rosé-coloured glasses. Perhaps even better. Our new vintage of As Ever's beloved rosé is available next week. I was thinking, beloved? Available? Both are pretty unlikely, right? I mean, available. Nothing is ever available on As Ever, is it?
Well, first of all, I'd like to acknowledge that your Meghan Markle impression sounds a lot like Doc Holliday in Tombstone. Yeah. So, but yeah.
Well, that's not bad. I like that. I like that film.
Absolutely, it's my favorite. Well, she's a few weeks early if she was going to try to hit Diana's death date. So I guess I appreciate the fact that she's not trying to hijack that too after she hijacked her birthday, the same woman that died in a drunk driving related incident. I don't care about this. She bores me to tears. I sent this story to a friend yesterday and said, my God, she's so boring. I do not care about any more of her liquor.
Yeah, so that's why I didn't want to spend too long on it. But what will happen, you heard it here first, is this will go on sale. About 5 minutes later, she will triumphantly announce, it's so popular, it's sold out already, without revealing that actually she only had 10 bottles for sale in the first place. That's what will happen. Let's go on to something slightly...
Also, but I would just like to say, when you sell out the first go-round, why don't you say, but don't fret, I have more coming next month? Like, that's why I don't trust anything she does. None of her actions make sense.
Yeah, I agree with that. And her, as I always say to you and to anyone who wants to listen, it's an extraordinary, a strange business model for a commercial enterprise to be based on not having anything available to sell or buy. That's her business model. You can never get anything from As Ever because, according to her, it's so popular everything's sold out, but everything sells out within 5 minutes. It's really bizarre. I'll tell you what else was quite bizarre, I think. When Harry, was it a couple of weeks ago, last week, when he went to Africa to retrace his mother, Princess Diana's footsteps in Angola, to pay tribute to her excellent campaign against landmines, the landmines that are the scourge of the continent, but particularly in Angola. Poor kids step on them and have their legs blown off and everything. So he went there to sort of remember the work of his mother. There he is, going through a landmine area. So, you know, I thought, rather cynically, this was basically to remind the world of his connection to Diana because he's got financial problems and Diana is good for cash. That's what I thought. But then again, I'm an old cynical hack, so don't necessarily listen to me. I'm maybe being a little unfair. Anyway, because that's what I do, Kinsey. You know, I'm unfair for a living. Anyway, so... after this, though, we thought he was coming home, but we've only just found out what he actually did.
Wait, I told you this a couple days ago, that he went to Botswana.
But to Botswana, and then he went to see...
Yeah, I told you this a couple days ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
So he went to see... Who's this T.J. Jenkins? Who are they?
Okay, so this is who he says is his second mother. So when Princess Diana died, he went to Botswana, and there was this couple, and this woman looked at him like she could not figure out what he was about. And he said he remembers her just watching him from afar, trying to understand him. But the more time he spent with her, the more she really started to love on him. And he said that he was kind of like one of these wild animals, and she tamed him through just the love of, you know, the kind of unconditional love you get from your mother. And so one day she jokes, she was poking fun at him about something, and he said, "Okay, Mom." And she loved that. And he calls her Mom now. And he says,
that's a bit creepy, isn't it? It's creepy.
Well, I don't mind this. I don't mind this. But what I will say to you is, and I said this on Kinsey Schofield Unfiltered yesterday, I understand that Meghan mothered Harry up. When they first got together, Meghan was a very maternal figure, and Meghan loved on Harry in a way that he felt he needed after the loss of his mother. Like, he loved that she was very maternal.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah.
But... with the addition of two small children, I wonder if Harry feels a bit abandoned by Meghan, because now her attention is elsewhere. It's on these two small toddlers that do need a mother's attention, that do need someone following them around, chasing them around, keeping scissors out of their hands, whatever. Does he feel a little bit abandoned? Does he feel like that attention he received from her is no longer there? When do we go home and kind of disappear and sink into darkness and, you know, our parents' couches and in their beds and eat their meals? It's when we need to lick our wounds. It's when we're hurting over something. It's when we feel lost lost, when we feel alone, and when we just need to recharge. And that's what I see here.
So this couple, TJ Jenkins and her husband Mike, apparently live in the back of beyond, in the real remote area of Botswana. Botswana is Harry's favourite country. He loves it, calls it his second home. Anyway, they live in the back of beyond in Botswana, and while he was there, he's off grid, uncontactable for 3 days. Now, you wonder why he wanted to go off grid and be uncontactable for 3 days. Could it be that he wanted a break from his manic wife's frantic attempts to persuade the public that, as ever, is a really successful business?
I think it's because I've heard that Meghan is very anxious about the idea of a royal reconciliation because she feels like she's being pushed out. That's what I understand. So maybe he wanted an escape from that because that's something that he does desperately want. And I have no sympathy for him because actions have consequences, and these are the consequences of his very ugly actions. But I also think we haven't had full access to the devastation that Harry feels about losing Senebale. Now, I know
that's an interesting point, pretty interesting
Lesotho is 400 miles away from Botswana. I'm not saying that but Dr. Sophie Shandaka said, okay, yeah, he visited once in 2024, but prior to that, he hadn't been here in 6 years. And another government official was like, Harry completely abandoned us when he met Meghan Markle. We feel like his lack of enthusiasm has negatively affected the charity. So I do wonder if he went there to kind of recenter and to heal, because I do think that he's devastated at the loss of Senebale. And I think that it really was harsh on his brand and his PR. I mean, Dr. Sophie Shandaka came out swinging. She never backed down. And at the end of that fight, we haven't received the information. There's an investigation. We don't know what that investigation, if it's still ongoing or what. But she was the clear winner in all of that.
Yes, she was. I agree with that. Yeah. Because he just disappeared in that dispute. First of all, issued these statements. She hit back in no uncertain fashion.
And said it was your wife. She said, your wife behaved inappropriately at a polo match, and she made me feel small. And so, no, we don't get along.
And so he just retreated, never to be heard of again. But I think you're probably right. I think the effect that the Senebale meltdown had on him was much more profound than we think. Listen, I'm going to read you something from Spare, his nasty little spiteful book. Of course, this was written by his ghostwriter. But this is about TJ Jenkins, his second mum, and her husband, Mike. Ready? She and Mike were the first people ever to cherish whatever wildness was still inside. Sorry, I've got to start that again. What's he talking about? Right. She and Mike were the first people ever to cherish whatever wildness was still inside me, whatever hadn't been lost to grief and the paps. The paps, the paparazzi. What is he talking about? That he lost his innate wildness to paparazzi photographers? Does he blame absolutely everything on the evil media, the evil press? He's nuts, isn't he?
He is. And honestly, isn't it strange to you that he ends up with Meghan Markle, who wouldn't leave the yoga studio before calling the paparazzi in Toronto to make sure they were in position to catch her walking out with her yoga mat in the midst of Suits, in the midst of the fact that no one cared that she was on Suits?
Yeah.
I've been covering entertainment for 20 years. I'd never heard of Meghan Markle until she started dating Prince Harry, ever.
I think that's the same for all of us. Absolutely. I mean, it is strange. I mean, he adopts this constant pose of antipathy towards the press, hates the papers, hates the media for all their meddling intrusion into his fantastic life, and yet doesn't seem to have worked out that he's married to someone who's trying to work the media for all she's worth. Trying to get in the press when she wants it, constantly dealing with publicists and PRs and so on and so forth. I just think he's too dim to make that connection.
Right. Well, he's guilty of it too. Sitting down with Anderson Cooper, sitting down with Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
I mean, when he wants to promote something, he's guilty of it too. And he looks like a total hypocrite. Sitting down with the BBC, saying that his family wants to harm him, and that's why he's not getting security. But by the way, I'd love a reconciliation.
Yeah, exactly right.
How much of Meghan's rosé did he dip into before that interview?
Don't forget, it's 14.5 strength alcohol, so that's the kind of hooch that can certainly change your mentality. I just think he's too dim to realise that he manipulates the media as well, or uses the media. But there you are. Listen, Kinsey, always great to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time, and we're going to do Kinsey Schofield Recollections May Vary next Tuesday, aren't we? I will look forward to that, and in the meantime, have a fabulous weekend.